In the film Night of the Hunter, director Charles Laughton and cinematographer Stanley Cortez worked together collectively to convey the concepts of familiar image and lighting. The textbook Looking at Movies describes a familiar image in film as any image that a director repeats in a movie to help stabilize its narrative. Laughton and Cortez used this familiar image and lighting to set the scene and draw forth an underlying meaning. Familiar image is shown in the beginning scene of the film when John and Pearl's father is getting arrested. The audience first sees the camera angle from the back of the police car with the Harper's house in the background. The audience then sees the same shot duration between the shot of his father getting arrested and the shot of John's reaction to the situation. The shot duration gradually becomes shorter and shorter in order to match the anxious mood throughout the scene. The audience sees this familiar image at the end of the film when Powell is getting arrested. The scene starts with the same camera angle from the back of the police car and the same shot duration between Powell's arrest and John's reaction. Familiar image is used to tie these two scenes together in order to show John's fear and how, even though he does not like Powell, his arrest takes him back to the traumatic experience of his father getting arrested in front of him. Laughton and Cortez use lighting in The Night of the Hunter to set the mood of each scene and to represent the theme of good versus evil. Some of the most prominent scenes in which lighting plays a major role all portray power, or lack thereof. In many scenes, the audience sees Powell only as a silhouette. This makes him more of a threat in a sort of gothic fairy tale. He is portrayed as a dark, uncertain figure, or a villain. In contrast, in the scene when Powell murders his wife, John and Pearl's mother, she is shown with a bright light and a sort of halo surrounding her face, as if to show her goodness. In the showdown scene, where both Powell and Mrs. Cooper are singing Leaning on the Everlasting Arm, light and shadows play a key role in the expression of good versus evil. Powell is again viewed as a silhouette, but the difference here is that the story's righteous character, Mrs. Cooper, who is typically shown with a light on her face, is paralleled with Powell as a silhouette as well. The specific use of lighting and shadows in The Night of the Hunter is much like Orson Welles' Citizen Kane. Cinematographer Stanley Cortez states, "Every day I consider something new about light, that incredible thing that can't be described. Of the directors I've worked with, only two have understood it, Orson Welles and Charles Laughton." The Night of the Hunter has similarities with Citizen Kane due to its distinct camera angles and use of lighting and shadows to portray their characters. They both give similar angles and shadows to their villains in order to show their power over the people around them. The Night of the Hunter uses both familiar image and lighting in a very unique way in order to express the mood of the scene and the character's power.